Hello, and thank you for joining us again for another version or episode of Develop, Integrate, and Sustain TV, keeping it simple. Well, let's go ahead and get started today. We're going to talk a little bit about virtualization. We're going to talk about some of the different models associated with virtualization, and we're going to talk about active and passive virtualization nodes, and allow us to kind of have this discussion about the availability of a virtualized server. Remember, it's important here to note that when we use virtualization on a physical host, so here represented, for example, server A and server B. Server A here, let's just go ahead and take a look here. We have 4 virtual servers that reside here. We have a messaging server, a database server, a web server, and a file server. These are 4 virtual servers on a single physical box. Now we can look here and see the same thing. 4 virtual servers, file server, web server, database server, and messaging server that reside on a single physical server, server B here. So what we're concerned about here and what we're talking about today is the availability of those virtual servers. So let's say that you are not using the ability to dynamically move images. So many of the virtualization vendors have the ability to automatically or manually dynamically move an image from this virtual server to this one, but that requires storage, and typically high-end storage, in order to accomplish that task. And we're going to talk about that in another episode of Disk TV. But let's say that you don't have storage, or your budget doesn't allow you to have that, and you need to have a virtual presence. You can do it through using 2 servers, 2 physical servers, and configuring them as an active configuration. What that means is that if you calculate that your horsepower, remember, when I say horsepower, I mean computing resources. There's a finite amount of computing resources on a virtual server. So depending upon the RAM and the CPUs and the front side bus and all of those things, the hard drives, this physical server will only support so many virtual servers. In this case, we have defined that this physical box will only support 4 virtual servers. But in this example, we have 2 servers that are running here full time. So they're running extra fast, right? So if it can handle 4 servers, we're only running 2 active. So we're getting a little more performance out of these 2. And we're running messaging and database services. And we have it set up on this virtual server that we're going to run web services and file services as the primary service. So here we have 2 virtual servers, both running 2 different types of services. Now what we're going to do, using host-based replication technology, we're going to replicate these 2 servers over to this virtual server, and we're going to replicate these 2 servers over to this server. That's going to give us the ability to have these 2 servers both running at 50% capacity, but in the event that one of these servers becomes unavailable, the other one will pick up its load. That is called an active configuration for virtualization. Using the exact same model, let's go ahead and talk about a different way to do this. We have virtual server here, again 4 virtual servers as we discussed before, but all 4 of the servers reside, the virtual servers reside on the physical server A. And here what we have is a passive node. So all these servers run fine until the time where a failure occurs here at the physical server. Then we can make those services available here on server B. Oftentimes this is just a shadowed server that's shadowing everything that's going on here on virtual A to virtual B, so that in the event of a failure, this guy comes up to snuff with no problem at all. Excuse me, you just turn a switch in virtual B. Now the physical server B is serving up all of these virtual sessions. So that's the difference. You've got an active passive situation, all the virtual servers running on one virtual server with a cold standby, a warm standby there waiting to take over. And you have an active configuration where half of your servers, 50% run on A, 50% run on B, and they fail over to one another. Thank you again for joining us. My name is Jeff.L.Lush. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Have a great day.